Bleebeldorf. I'm a sim, get it? The Sims is a video game franchise created for people with intense god complexes for people with intense god complexes. Sim and sin are one letter different, so clearly the sin gods have had it out for me to do this episode for a long time. And I guess so have the sim gods. But aren't the users the sim gods? And isn't God the same thing as the sim god? Now, just to clarify, I'm not gonna go through every aspect of every single Sims game to ever exist. I have a life. You have a life. Sims have lives, and none of us have time for that. This is just gonna be a cursory overview of the brand itself. If you want a full list of sins, just Google Christian and Sims, and I'm pretty sure someone will show you the light. When someone loses their family home to fire, it can be a traumatic event. Will Wright lost his home during the Oakland firestorm of 1991, and the recovery process was so interesting to him that he decided to turn it into a video game. Normal behavior. The Sims was created as a satire, or commentary on consumer culture, if you will. Ironically, or I suppose unironically, depending on the viewpoint, consumers loved it. While The Sims fall into the sandbox game category, meaning it doesn't really give the players goals to achieve, it's a free-for-all, EA has yet to produce a Sims sandbox, in which the Sims play in sandboxes. Sims' latest release is called The Sims 4 Toddler Stuff. Toddler stuff, like crying for no apparent reason, and shitting yourself, learning how to walk properly, having your cheeks pinched by random strangers. Yeah, I sure do want to control that. Sounds like a fucking blast. What started as a commentary on consumerism became a great way to make money off of people who wanted to spend their life pretending to be in charge of someone else's. The irony abounds. I know. For example, the original Sims consisted of the game, 7 expansion packs, and 2 deluxe edition content packs. The Sims 2 had 8 expansion packs and 9 stuff packs, which, by the way, should win an award for the most accurate naming of a good to be sold. The Sims 3 had 11 expansion packs and 9 stuff packs. The Sims 4 is the current iteration of the game with 5 game packs, 3 expansion packs, and 12 stuff packs. So far. The amount of times I've had to say stuff pack in this episode makes me want to stuff their packs, if you know what I mean. And no, I don't mean it in the gay way. And neither did the game makers when The Sims first premiered at E3 in 1999. They accidentally had a gay kiss in one of their promo videos. See, after quite a bit of back and forth, the team had decided not to include same-sex relationships in the game. But they didn't tell that to the guy who programmed social interactions into the game. The gay guy who programmed social interactions into the game. And just to be clear, I'm not sinning gayness, I'm sinning stupidity. So a lesbian couple ended up making out during a live demo, and surprise, guys loved it. Sims 4 allows players to completely customize their Sims, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. That's not a sin. Well, I mean, technically it is a sin, so. In a truly Russian move, Russia gave The Sims 4 an 18+ rating because the characters can be gay. The Kremlin deemed the game harmful to Russian youth. Let's be honest. What isn't harmful to Russian youth? Isn't Chernobyl still simmering away somewhere? You know your game is doing well when one of the biggest controversies is that pools no longer exist in your game. I mean, sure, pools exist in real life and should probably exist in a game that mimics real life down to the fluidity of gender, but come on guys, that's not that big of a deal. When people play Sims, they play Sims. There are so many cheats and mods and challenges that it seems almost impossible to choose what to do in this pointless game. But hey, they are trying to duplicate real life. There's an Ugly Sea challenge where people try to breed uglier and uglier Sims over time. And yes, people actually do this. Similarly, there's a Pretty challenge. I'm gonna let you infer what that entails. And if you can't, you're a shoo-in for the Dumbesty challenge. There's one called the Parentsy challenge, in which you have to raise 11 generations of Sims in one bloodline and carve out a story. Generation 1 has to be a single parent of 1. That one grows up to be a workaholic parent. Bonus points awarded if they have a child before reaching level 10 of their career. And their child, who has very little love from the workaholic parent, has to become a painter, and their kid has commitment issues, so the one with commitment issues creates a kid who will end up being neglectful, and their kids end up insane, and that one's kid has to be a know-it-all, and the kid of the know-it-all gets around, so their kid has to be a hopeless romantic, and the kid of the hopeless romantic ends up running all sorts of social clubs. It's frustrating to just read this. Why have people actually done it? Why? There's so many things to do, like this. There's also the dollhouse challenge where you build a house like a dollhouse and treat the characters like dolls, aka play Sims. The Disney Princess Challenge outlines 10 generations of Disney princesses all in one family line. How Cinderella becomes Tiana's mom and Tiana begets Aurora is a bit confusing. There was that time when someone tried to make a cat and this happened. And that time a Sim dropped his baby into a fish tank and just patiently tapped the glass waiting for it to swim out. You can do pretty much anything in Sims, and people can't handle that much power. Now to do this, I have to delve into the deepest, most wanton cesspool the internet has to offer. Reddit. For example, when a Sim dies, a tombstone pops up. Reddit user WintoX wanted to make a haunted house, so he killed 3 families in order to have the tombstones for the front yard. Dubba made his Sim house into a reality TV show, and when people were voted off, they just killed them Doctor Who style. And finally, Reddit user Rakonis did, well, let me quote him. "I would train my son to be good enough painter to do screenshot paintings. I then forced him to paint me naked or having sex with his mother or other women. I hung the paintings everywhere." Like I said, some people shouldn't have this much power.
I like what you've done with the place.